Hey, what's up guys? This is Astranox. In this video, I'm going to showcase Ian in Wyvern 13. At the table is a team that is not free-to-play friendly, beside of course Angelic Montmorancy and Ian. I will be showcasing Ian in a free-to-play team on my first account whenever I pull him there. But yeah, let me just show you guys his stats, his gear, and I'll talk about this hero's performance and if you should be using him in Wyvern as I do the run afterward. Let's go. Let's look at Ian's skills real quick. So his skill number 3 has decreased hit chance debuff for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. This is actually pretty powerful. That's a debuff, and debuffs is the name of the game when it comes down to Wyvern, of course. Skill number 2, you have attack buff for the whole team. Grants an extra turn to himself. That means he's going to be able to use skill 3 faster, which is good, so you can apply this decreased hit chance more often, right? So the attack buff will allow you to just deal more damage to the boss, and I'll talk more about that, why attack buff is good. You don't have to rely so much on defense break if you are using attack buff, but you can use them in combination to deal even more damage to the boss. Skill 1 doesn't have a debuff, unfortunately. You can be using Song of Star 5-star artifact or the limited Mrs. Confile artifact to land either a target debuff for 2 turns or defense break for 1 turn with the limited artifact. On his memory imprint, the self imprint concentration, he has effectiveness, so you want to turn that on when you're doing Wyvern. What you need to aim for his stats is, of course, as much speed as possible, 85% critical hit chance, as much critical hit damage as possible, and you want this artifact Daydream Joker, or if you're going to be running him on a Song of Stars or a Mrs. Confile to land, a debuff with his skill number 1, then of course you will not be wearing Daydream Joker. If you're going that route, then you might want to have more speed, and you wouldn't worry too much about dealing as much damage as possible. With this hero, it's going to be for attack buffing the whole team, and it's going to be to reliably land his debuffs. So you want to aim for 65% effectiveness. I went for pure damage. I mean, like speed, high speed, over 85% crit chance is what you want, because you're getting 15% for free when you're at elemental advantage, and as much critical hit damage as possible, so you can actually scale that damage with this 3-star artifact Daydream Joker. So this gear is actually really good, and you can pull this off with much lower gear than this. And this artifact is dealing damage based on the target's max health, so it scales with your critical hit damage, gets multiplied by it. And as much speed as possible will allow you to go more often, which means you're going to be attacking more often and dealing more damage in general. So attack doesn't matter for dealing damage based on the target's max health, but he's got attack buff. So yes, he helps, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Let me just show you guys the stats of the other heroes in the team. Seaside Bellona is unfortunately my only defense breaker in the team. I would prefer to have Tarnargard 3-star Warrior or Furious, the 4-star free hero, to land defense break more reliably. But yeah, Seaside Bellona, she's got the effectiveness. You need 65% effectiveness to land your debuffs. More than that is a waste. Her speed is quite low. Her critical hit damage is low. You only need 85% crit chance when you're ice versus fire, when you are at elemental advantage. So, her stats are not so great. I would say that Ian's stats are much better than Seaside Bellona. She is on Daydream Joker, so that's the important thing. This is my Sigret. She's on a rage and hit set, so it's good to push her damage even further, because you can see here rage set. Damage dealt increases by 30% when attacking debuffed targets, so it's very good. Sigret lands a lot of debuffs, and Seaside Bellona as well. So she's got the Daydream Joker artifact, very nice. In terms of stats, I would say that her speed is not so high, really. The effectiveness, she's got that 65% already, so that's good. And her attack is not that high, really. She's got the crit chance at 100% versus fire, and her crit damage, I would like to have it higher, but she's on a rage set, so it's pretty nice. And she's got this exclusive equipment, so she can actually have a better chance to land bleeding effects. My frontliner, my tank, and my healer, Angelic Montmorancy, specialty change of Montmorancy, very good free hero. Just aim for as much health and defense as possible. Try to sort of like balance them so you get more effective health overall. And you know, if you can get some effect resistance with 220% effect resistance, you're able to resist every attack from the boss, so you don't get your combat units pushed back, and you don't get buffs removed from your, you know, your Angelic Montmorancy, which is actually pretty nice. She's on Rod of Amaryllis, so she can heal herself for more. You can have her on Water's Origin as well, so that's also a viable option. So in the team, Ian actually helps with the attack buff. The attack buff, when you have him paired with Sigret, she deals a lot of damage with her bleed effects, and bleed scales based on her attack. So if she has attack buff, she's going to be dealing more damage. And she also penetrates defense by 30% with her skill number 3, and for each debuff on the target, she penetrates an additional 10% defense. So if you don't have a defense breaker, Ian and Sigret together can be a great combo, because she can deal sort of like full damage to the target if she penetrates close to 100% of the target's defense. So Daydream Joker 3-star artifact is going to deal damage based on the target's max health, and it's going to take a big chunk of the target's max health. So that's pretty nice. Then you've got the bleeding effects, you know, dealing more damage because of the attack buff. That's cool too. Ian, unfortunately, you know, he doesn't have a debuff on skill number 1. Well, it's not unfortunately, because he removes a buff. You know, he might not be the best of heroes for Wyvern, because if you have a hero that lands defense break debuff, a reliable way to land defense break debuff, then you're going to be dealing more damage based on target's max health. So Daydream Joker, and that's really good. And also, like, I would take a defense break over attack buff any day of the week if defense break was actually reliable. But if you combine both of them, you know, if I didn't have Seaside Bellona in here, and if I had like, if I had Tarnal Guard instead of her, or if I had like Furious instead of her, it would be more reliable to land defense break. I would prefer Furious actually, and I would build a team with like 30% critical hit chance, because Furious gives critical hit chance buff, so it brings the team to 85% critical hit chance, and Ice versus Fire will hit 100% crit chance because of elemental advantage. We got the defense break. Let's look at the team landing some debuffs, and let's see what kind of damage we can do here. We got Sigret using her skill number 3 against 2 debuffs on the Wyvern. You can see here the damage is crazy because she's got the rage set and she also has the attack buff. So that was pretty nice right there. I don't know how much damage she dealt to that barrier, but that barrier I think was almost, you know, full. So she might have dealt close to like 100,000 damage. So you can see Ian hitting for like 31,000 with his skill 1. That's pretty nice. And you know, overall it's really about the Daydream Joker artifact. You can see here the battle result. Okay, thank you. You can see here Ian, even though he has much better gear, he didn't do that much damage compared to Sigret, right? Because Sigret, things went well for her because defense break was applied on the boss. Even Seaside Bellona, you can see her damage is quite close. So Ian's performance, considering his gear, which is much better than the rest of the team, I feel like is not that great, but he is not a selfish hero. He provides the team with attack buff, and that's huge. Attack buff is very good, but defense break is better when it comes down to Wyvern with the Daydream Joker artifact. If you can combine both, that's great. I would definitely go with a more reliable way to land defense break. Seaside Bellona, you should be building her for PvP. You know, like 15,000 health, high attack, you know, a bruiser Seaside Bellona with Rengar special drink, and you should be using another hero for PvE content, which I didn't do the move on this third account of mine, but I did the move on account 1 and 2. I'm yet to do it on account 4. But you can see like Sigret, she deals so much damage. I've been recommending Sigret as your, you know, 5-star hero, your go-to 5-star hero during selective summon for new players. So I feel like with Ian, there's quite a bit of potential there, and I would build like Angelic Montmorancy for the front, and for the 4th position, I would say that yeah, Furious would be really good. If you build your team properly and you have like only 30% crit chance with the crit chance buff, if Furious is fast, the uptime is going to be like 100% for the whole team. And that means you can go for a lot more critical hit damage. You can hit that 65% effectiveness. You can just get more speed and just do a ton of damage. You can see the boss is fully Look at that, man. That's crazy. 41,000 damage. She attacks again because the boss is low health. Sigret is just the queen of Wyvern. It's just insane. You can see Ian, you know, 36,000 damage there because there's a target debuff on the boss. But yeah, I mean, he did contribute with the decreased hit chance debuff, which is actually pretty nice. And in terms of damage, we'll see how he performed. But really, like, you have to think about it like he's bringing attack buff for the team. It's not like just numbers, just pure damage. And you can see here, Sigret with like not decrease of stats, like her stat are not even that great. It's just because she's got the rage set and she's just amazing for Wyvern. And the timing, you know, the more debuffs you have on the boss when she uses skill 3, the more damage she's gonna do. But then you've got the attack 2 and 2 attack 1 of herself when the boss is low, and that's just a ton of damage. You can see Ian, you know, if you don't have Seaside Bellona, you could definitely build him with the Song of Star 5-star artifact, so he can land target debuff with skill 1 for 2 turns, and then he's got decreased hit chance on skill number 3. So he could be like a supporter, you know, like not relying too much for damage for this hero. But you will heavily rely on Sigret for damage though, because if you bring a defense breaker in your team, that means Sigret will be the main damage dealer. You could make it happen though. It can work. So, I mean, let us know in the comment section what have you tried with Ian, but I would say that he's definitely a great hero when it comes down to PvP, of course, and PvE. In Wyvern, he can do great. So I would like to test him in Asmanic Hunt. I would like to test him in Raid, Abyss Hall of Trials, Expedition, and all that. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let us know what you guys think about Ian in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button. And if you loved it, well, subscribe to the channel. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all you do. Peace out for now.